So here we have a theme park where they only allow the customers to be at least 135 centimeters tall to ride. And they also must not be pregnant. If they're pregnant, they cannot ride. So we need to create an algorithm that asks the user to input the height in centimeter, and then asks if they're male or female, and then keeps repeating until 4 people are on the right. Because of that, we need to create a counter because it says until 4 people are on the right. So we create a counter, we set it to 0. 0 people are currently on the right. Then we create a while loop while the number of people is less than 4, because it says once it reaches 4, it means the ride is full. Then we need to display the ride is full later on, once we finish the while loop. So firstly, we need to ask them for the height. What is your height? Then what we need to do is we need to create an if statement. If the height is greater than or equal to 135, then we go inside inside that if statement. Now, once we ask them for the height, if they are above or equal to 135 centimeter, then we need to ask them if they are male or female, because we need to check if they're pregnant or not. So if they are male, then we can just tell them you can ride. Obviously, they're not going to be pregnant since they're males. Then what we need to do, we need to add 1 to the number of people. So we add 1 to people. This means someone is currently on the right. Now, if they are female, so we need to put else inside the if statement, so the inner if statement. So then we need to ask if they're pregnant, because if they're not male, then they must be female, we assume. Then, if they are pregnant, then what we need to say, if they are pregnant, then we need to tell them they cannot ride. Otherwise, so if they're pregnant, then they cannot ride. Otherwise, then they can ride. So we need to put else. Then we need to display you can ride, and then we also need to add 1 to people because that specific female is not pregnant. So it means she can go on the ride. Then what we need to do is we need to go back all the way to the first if, which is here. So the indentation needs to be once. So we only have 1 indentation here. So what we need to do is we need to do 1 indentation to go to the else. Because if they're not above 124 or they're not at least 135, then they cannot write. So we just put else you cannot write. And finally, what we need to do is we need to display the ride is full. So we exit the while loop and we display the ride is full.